And it's because of the HBOT. It is truly, it is a time-consuming, procedure that you have to go through, but it is worth every second of it, and you'll never know. And like I said, we had said, if we don't try this, we'll never know. And thank goodness we did, because now we have our child back. I mean, we have a child that we never thought we would have. And we look at him now, just playing with his brothers and sisters, and things that people take for granted. When, you assume that your child is going to play basketball with the team. You assume he's going to like to go to play outside with his friends. And we never had that. And thanks to HBOT, now we have our son back again. And it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Actually, at the end of every month, he will literally cry that it's the last day of the HBOT because we have to have the next 3 or 4 weeks off. And he literally cries to have to.
He loves
it so much.
He loves going in it. And it's just, the gains that he's made, it's just amazing. Back when he was diagnosed with apraxia, verbal apraxia of speech at approximately 20 months. He was just not making, any gains whatsoever. He was just, you looked at him and he just looked like he wasn't all there. He wasn't all there. He would stare. He would, he just everything. And it was so frustrating for him that he would walk around the house grunting and groaning and making these noises because he just could not verbalize was. He wasn't interested in toys. He wasn't interested in playing the right way with toys. He would just, you gave him a car and he would just stare at it. Now he builds block towers with his brother and they race the cars through them. Mm-hmm. It's like a typical 5.5-year-old child, and it's because of this, this protocol. It's just it has changed. It's given him his life back. It really, really has.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable thing, and to see where he was at the beginning. Gosh, this is now April of 2009. We started the protocol in July of 2009.
2008.
2008, excuse me. And where he is now compared to where he was when he began, when we see people who haven't seen us in about a year and a half, they're like, that's him?
They can't believe it.
It's just remarkable.
Family members, actually. We were just at a family event, and a family member of, not a direct relative of ours, a relation to the family, had said to us, they said that they could not believe that this was the same child that they had seen. They probably saw him maybe 5 or 6 months ago, and they said they could not believe. He was sitting at a table. There were probably about 20 people at the table. He was making jokes. He had the whole table laughing.
My sister was crying.
Yeah, Greg's sister was actually. We were actually have tears because he has a sense of humor. It's fantastic. He was making people laugh, and he was getting into it, and he was making jokes, and he got the jokes. He used to be very literal. Everything was very literal. You couldn't make a joke. He didn't understand, to have a sense of humor. And now he walks around and he'll make jokes. He'll come up behind me and, pull my hair and run away and start laughing. And he'll do it to his brothers and sisters, things like that. He'll sit down at night and he'll read his brother and sister a story. He'll sit down, they'll sit on the floor, and he'll read a book to them, and he'll ask them questions. And it's just, he models a lot of what we do with him. And it's truly phenomenal from where he was a year ago. It's not even a year.
And what the oxygen chamber has also done, the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, it's also allowed him to be, what I definitely feel, is a better student. He grasps things much quicker. He takes it and evolves it into his own way of making himself better. So it just, in my estimation, it just has opened up the airways, and now everything is free flowing, where before the HBOT it would just hit like a brick wall,
and you could see it by looking at him. You could see it. You would try to explain things to him, and he would look at you and he wouldn't get it. And now not only he gets things, but he also initiates questions. He wants to learn. He wants to do homework every night. He wants to sit at the table. He asks 35 questions sitting at a homework. What's this? What's that? Why is this? Never. He never did that before. Never showed the interest, never showed the curiosity. The creativity that he has is amazing. He'll sit and he'll build towers, he'll make structures, he'll draw pictures. Family members look at these pictures and they say they can't believe it's coming from a child that age, who a year ago would sit, if you asked him to draw a picture, and would draw a straight line, would stare at the crayon, would cry, would just had no interest whatsoever. And it's wonderful to be able to speak with him. I don't think we ever thought that we'd be able to have a conversation with our son. And now we can sit and not only conversate with him and make jokes, and he laughs and he asks questions and he's inquisitive and he's curious and he just wants to know about everything. I remember back, he must have been about 3 years old. We were at another family event, and my nephew was there, who's just a couple of months younger than Ryan. and my nephew was running around the house asking, "What's this?" He was just learning to speak. Maybe they were 2. And he was walking around the house asking, "What's this? What's this? What's this?" And I remember Ryan was sitting there and nothing. And I said to myself, God, I just wish he would just ask, "What is this?" or "Who is that?" or something. And I remember, and you can't, I would always feel that, I don't want to say jealousy, but then inside, but why is our son not doing that?
It's very hard.
And I think it's natural to feel like that. Why is everyone else doing that but our son? Why can't, and so many things that, friends, talk to me, "Oh, my child's driving me crazy. He doesn't stop talking." And I say to myself,
like, what we wouldn't give
to have
in
him.
that situation.
And honestly, now we're in that position. We find ourselves, we don't look, sometimes, he doesn't stop talking. And it's fantastic, but sometimes you have to tell him when it's appropriate not to, be talking, like if we're in a movie, nonstop, Ryan, you have to stop talking, but why? And it's, so, and of course we welcome that, and it's so wonderful because years ago, we never, even last year before HBOT, we never thought that we would ever have that.
It's like the 4 years of him not talking. Now he has all this pent up things to say, and he's so excited to get out. And it's just. And
actually, I don't mean to cut you, but this is very interesting. He was watching old videos of himself.
Yeah, this is interesting.
From when he was a baby up until he was about 4 years old. And he looked at me and he said to me, "Mommy, that was before I had words in my mouth." Yeah. And I almost started crying right there. And I said to him, "What do you mean?" And he said, he said, before I was a big boy, I didn't have words in my mouth and I couldn't talk. He's like, "But now I have 1,000,000 words in my mouth." And to hear, and that's the truth right there. There is no better testimonial than that. When the child himself says to us that he knows for so long that he wanted to say it and couldn't get all this stuff out. And all of a sudden, he's watching himself, and he says now he can finally. And then he said to me, "Is it because I go in the spaceship?" And I said, "You know what, buddy?" I said, it is, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, even his friend Corey said, "I love hanging out with Ryan now because now he could talk to me." And it's just an amazing thing when that happens.
Right.
We were talking about sports earlier. This is a little boy that was so pushed back into the into the background and everything. We were talking about baseball and basketball and soccer. He's not just doing these things where he's on the sideline. These are with mainstream kids, and he's excelling, big time excelling.
Right.
Making shots with the regular basket, dribbling the ball in and out with soccer, baseball. We went to his baseball class on Friday. He was the only kid catching wiffle balls from 30 feet away. It was insane.
But even to watch the way he interacts with the other kids at those events, at basketball, when they have to partner up with somebody and take turns, he used to do it one time and then run away. Now he'll be, "Hey, come on, guys," and he'll be the one rounding up everybody. And I have friends of children in the same sports classes, and they'll say to me they remember back when he wouldn't even participate.
The important thing is also, it's a time-consuming process, the HBOT. However, we have 2 3-year-old twins. I have an amazingly hectic work schedule. My wife has a lot of this to do on our own, and I always help whenever I possibly can. But it's doable. It is so doable. And just to see the results that we've had with Ryan, it's just an absolute wonderful thing. We're so glad that we tried this. Because like Robin was saying before, we didn't want to look down 5 years down the road and say, "Man, we should have tried this."
And now we can look at him. We can look at him in the eye.
We can look at him and say, we've done everything.
We've done everything.
And it's worked, thank goodness. And he is just living proof of just what could be by just following the protocol, doing the hours.
But also, don't get frustrated. Like I said, we were getting, especially frustrated because we had done the 90-hour protocol and there was nothing. And I was...
Yeah, and we pretty much ripped into them. We were like, wow, what's going on here?
I called up the office and I said, I don't understand. I understand nothing's a guarantee, but there was nothing. There was literally nothing.
Yeah, and that second week after,
2 weeks afterwards.
It's like his brain had to digest the oxygen, and when it was there, it found its right spot, and then boom, the sky is the limit.
But even now, into the break periods now, he sees, we may not see, gains during the actual month, but you can bet every month continuously, if it's not during the month and into that break period, that every month there is something that he's doing that is remarkable that we did not see the month before. It might be a small thing, it might be a big thing, but every month there are gains happening that we can guarantee you would not have been coming if it wasn't for HBOT. 100%.
Yeah, no, his sleeping is excellent. His growth is excellent. He's like, 80, 90% in height.
His eating.
He's his weight is like 80, 90%. He's solid. He's strong.
But he's also a much better eater now. He was never interested in eating before. And now it's just overall, every aspect of his life has been bettered by HBOT. And every aspect of his life has just, he's grown in leaps and bounds. And, we can only attribute it, to this. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, the sky is truly the limit for him. We have no concern that he's going to live a long, healthy, happy, prosperous life, and unencumbered because of the process that we're going through right now. And we're extremely fortunate that we embrace this, and we're just looking forward to the future, unquestionably.
And so is he.
Right.